Raymond. Thank you for the time as always. And my first question for you today is about your opponent, Peter Stanonik. He's only had two fights in the last 2 years, lost both of them decisively. Now, obviously, you can go out there and get a highlight reel win, and that would be satisfying. But is this as big of a challenge as you want on Friday?
For me, obviously the world has kind of been, shut down and stuff. So I'm looking to continue to push myself and continue to obviously elevate, my challengers and the people that I'm fighting. I think he's going to be a very challenging opponent. I don't think he's definitely any pushover just because somebody lost a match or two doesn't, define them as who they are as a fighter. But I am looking to take on bigger and badder, prey if that's what you're asking, because I do consider myself an elite athlete and I want to go for the Bellator gold, which is Douglas Lima. So that is my goal. That is my target right now. So this is just another stepping stone in for me to get into that direction. I'm not overlooking him by any means. He has a great kickboxing record. He has lost his last couple matches, but he has, I think, at least 9 MMA fights to my 3. So if you look at his experience in MMA, he actually has a lot more than I do.
That's true. And you're somebody who knows a lot about not being defined by a loss because your MMA career didn't start out the way that you would have hoped it would. So you've been very resilient in that area, even though you were already a world champion in kickboxing. So with all that experience weighed in, those credentials in kickboxing and your renewed improvement in MMA, how far away are you from Douglas Lima if you keep winning?
I honestly don't feel that I'm that far away from Douglas Lima. I'm continuing to evolve as a person, as a fighter. I don't honestly think that I'm too far away. I'm just, kind of fixing up a couple things with my jiu-jitsu and my wrestling. I've got Joe Murphy, who's helping with my jiu-jitsu. I've got an amazing coach in Mark Munoz. And now I'm with Training Lab with Juan Archuleta, TJ Dillashaw, and Coach Sam Calavita. So my cardio is absolutely amazing right now. I don't think I'm honestly that far. I actually have something I would like to present to Bellator in the future is I am the Bellator kickboxing world champion, and I have that experience with me. Now I'm feeling at home here in the MMA world, but we're under the same umbrella. Most people are willing to try and go after something that somebody else has, meaning they'll go after another weight class title or a lower weight class title. But usually they don't want to risk what it is that they have. They just want to take something that belongs to somebody else. As far as me, I want to present a challenge to Douglas Lima. Well, I'm willing to risk my kickboxing world title versus his MMA title. They say steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron. I'm willing to kind of test my mettle versus his mettle, and I think he's an amazing champion. I'm a huge fan of his, to be honest. If you want the truth, he's a family man, a man of Christ. He's a little bit crazy because he swims with sharks and stuff like that. I follow him on his IG and stuff, but I'm looking forward to having an opportunity to share in the octagon. So no disrespect to him, but he understands that he is the wizard. And I'm off to see the wizard. I don't want to have to go down the yellow brick road and see all these different people on the way. I want to go straight to seeing him, and challenging him for what it is that he owns right now.
Well, title versus title sounds like an amazing idea. But before I let you go, I want to touch on one thing you mentioned earlier, that the world has changed a lot since your last Bellator fight. And I know you've got an amazing team around you. You've already mentioned all of their names, but how has that changed the way that you train and prepare?
It's changed a few different things as far as the way I train, the way I prepare and stuff like that. Fortunately, I'm my own business owner, world champion karate in the city of Orange. So I have the keys to my own city, so to speak. So I have the ability to go in and train 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I train also over at Training Lab in Placentia with Mr. Calavita. And they actually have been doing a great job of making sure they're keeping all the athletes safe safe. They've been doing a weekly test with us, just to make sure that, we're doing COVID tests, we're doing temperature checks, we're doing all these different types of tests to make sure that our athletes are staying safe. And we're doing them several times a week to make sure that we can still train and we can still compete to the best of our ability. So, there has been, some extra hoops to jump through, but as with life, you get thrown different roadblocks and challenges, and it's our job to try and overcome those. And we have done that together as a team.
All right, next question from Giancarlo.
Hi, Raymond. Just brought up there also, like your first transition to MMA, you came out on the losing end in 2008, but now you're on back-to-back wins in Bellator. Just what was something you took away from your first attempt in MMA that has really helped you in the second attempt in Bellator?
I think just the humanizing experience. I always try and tell fighters that are coming up to kind of like never believe your own hype. Some people get carried away in it. You see all these fighters, they start to talk about this, even start to talk about themselves in different persons, third person, or whatever the case is. But don't believe your own hype. When I was younger, I was kind of caught up in believing my own hype, so to speak. I was an undefeated kickboxer. I was knocking people out with stuff that people have never seen before. So I was kind of like, yeah, I'm the man. As a young man, that's what you believe. You believe that you're untouchable. And when I went into that first experience, I had zero training in wrestling, zero training in jiu-jitsu. Honestly, didn't have any Muay Thai training. I was just a sport martial arts competitor that enjoyed competing, and it didn't matter the arena. I always felt that if you are a fighter, somebody should be able to tell you the rule set, and you should be able to go and compete against the best of the best in that rule set. And that was a rude awakening for me as a young man, a very humbling experience in life, but one I would never take back, to be honest, because it opened my eyes to different things. Some people look at like, oh, you lost here or you lost there. It's like, oh, you got beat. But for me, I look at them as learning experiences, opportunities for me to improve myself as a person, myself as a fighter. So yes, that didn't go my way. But now if you look at the team that I have that surrounded me, because I had that experience in life, now I'm able to look back, reflect on that, make the necessary corrections that I need. And now I'm coming out and giving people highlights in MMA now at 40 years old that not even 20 or 30-year-olds can do. That's just from me learning from earlier life experiences and taking those experiences and continuing to evolve as a mixed martial artist.
And final question for me, like your last fight was in January, so you've had some time off now, especially now with this shutdown. So was there an area of your game that you were able to really improve on and take advantage of this time off?
A lot of things kind of got shut down and stuff like that, but I've continued to evolve with my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, continuing to make myself more of an all-around fighter. I've had the great opportunity of training with some amazing mixed martial artists. I've trained with GSP, Woodley, Rory, Sean Strickland, Ryan Hall. So I've been able to train with, some of these different guys with so many different levels. So I know that where I am with my stand-up fighting is I'm really strong. But I needed to improve on my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu. And that's what I've been working on, because anybody in MMA that tells you that they're going to try and stand up and fight with me, that is always a good thought or something good to say. But then I think once they get in there and they start moving around with me, they'll turn to a wrestler or to a jiu-jitsu artist really quickly. So I know that not anybody in the MMA world will want, I know they consider a lot of the guys like, oh, this guy's the best stand-up guy, this guy's the best this, but they haven't. Now I'm here in MMA. So I think that I bring a different precedence to the MMA arena, because not only my kickboxing experience, but people don't recognize my sport karate experience. And that's what makes the biggest difference. So I've improved in those areas, though, but in my jiu-jitsu and my wrestling, a whole lot with Mark Munoz and Joe Murphy.
All right, next question, Rick Sanchez.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. My question is, with your fight coming up this Friday, how mentally prepared are you to be back in now in the Bellator cage? And now, like right now, what's going on with this pandemic?
That's an awesome question. I mean, as far as there's a lot of different things going on in the life and or in the world. So I think it's giving people an opportunity to spend time with their family, to enjoy their loved ones, but it's also put a reality check. We've lost a lot of great people. I'll just even say superheroes. We lost the Black Mamba, we lost the Black Panther. So for me, I look at this as a great opportunity to go out and to be able to perform and become that superhero kind of for the public. I get to fight. I'm honored to be able to fight on 9/11 when it's a day in our history where we've we lost a lot of good people to acts of violence, and there's a lot of say violence going on in the world right now because of different things, different beliefs, different bigotries that people feel. So I think it's awesome to have the opportunity to go out and to excuse me. Don't worry, I'm COVID free. Doesn't come through the. I hope it doesn't come through the camera now. But there's a lot of different different things that are going on in the world, and so for me to for Bellator and Paramount Network to give us the opportunity and the platform to go out and to inspire people or to relate to people, or and that's what I look at it as what I do. That's why I go out and I perform the way I perform. That's why I fight the way that I fight, is to go out and to be able to inspire people that. So my mind is always focused. I'm always ready to fight world-class athletes. I do it on a daily basis. I don't think it'll make it any different. But like I said, I'm honored to be able to fight on 9/11.
Jay?
Thanks very much. And Raymond, you talked about age and the wisdom you've acquired. In a sense, you feel like a bit of a late bloomer when it comes to MMA. And does that mean you might be able to carry on a little bit longer into your 40s than perhaps otherwise?
Yeah, no, that's an awesome question. A lot of people ask me, they're like, okay, man, you're like, even when I'm going to get I had to do extra medical stuff this time, with the doctors and stuff because I'm 40. So, so a lot of people are like, oh, how much longer are you going to do this? The beautiful thing is that I come from a different background than the typical MMA person. I'm not the typical MMA athlete. Obviously, even with the way I fight, it's not typically like an MMA fighter say would fight. So I come from a sport martial arts background, come from as a martial artist. Martial arts is kind of like the fountain of youth. That's what I call it. I have a martial arts program in the city of Orange called World Champion Karate. I'm dealing and teaching future generations. So that keeps me very, very young and very energetic because I'm working with tomorrow's future, or whatever you want to call it, or however you want to look at that. So for me, yes, I guess you would say I'm a late bloomer, but I always arrive on time. I like to kind of, dominate whatever field it is that I come to. If you look at it, I've always risen to the top in every organization that I've ever competed in, from back on my sport karate days on NBL and NASCA to when I competed in the Chuck Norris League. My team went to #1. I was the MVP. We won the championship. When I was fought in Glory, I became the #1 fighter and fought for the title. Came short because I got my eye cut. Bellator Kickboxing. I climbed the ladder in that, became the Bellator Kickboxing champion, and now I've arrived in MMA. I'm 40, but you won't meet a 20 or a 30-year-old that it will be faster than I am. So even though, say, these guys are younger than me, because of my experience from where I come from, I've never met. And this comes from even competing and sparring against some of the top guys like GSP, Woodley, Rory, all these guys. I'm always even faster than all of them. Any of the young, a couple of my sparring partners were in their 20s, and I'm still 10 times faster than they are. And I think it's just from my background. So yes, late bloomer, but late to the party. But I'm here, and I'm bringing a whole new dynamic to the game.
Well, glad to see you here. One more for me. The other factor that you've got is a partner, a wife who also fights as well. How important is Colby as a sounding board, as support for you in competing?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea how. We just celebrated our first anniversary on the 24th. This year was quarantine, so we weren't able to go out and celebrate like we wanted to. So a year married now. But it's amazing having a life partner that shares in my passion, because she understands, like, even though it's our anniversary, we couldn't go out and celebrate it like we wanted to because she knows that I had this fight coming up. So I can't, she knows that I'm not able to break my diet. She's there for me to cook me breakfast, to help me with my laundry, to help me get my supplements and my pads and everything together. So I think the reason why people are able to see me blossom like this is a huge part to her. I've never been so well balanced in life, as far as physically, thanks to Training Lab and Coach Cal. Spiritually, Colby's reintroduced my relationship with God, emotionally, in my love life. It's amazing. So I think that everybody is able to actually see me truly balanced and come out there and compete. And when your mind, body, and your soul are all one, I think that's when people are able to see things like the 720 punch and see me come out and compete, because I am so well balanced, and that balance has come from her.
All right, our last question comes from Zach Harkman.
Hi, Raymond. Thanks for the time today.
No problem.
So you mentioned earlier that you have your eyes on Douglas Lima and the welterweight strap, and that's obviously understandable. Now, you two have a common opponent, as you fought Michael Venom Page in kickboxing, and he fought him in MMA. So as someone who's watched that fight, I'm sure, and someone who has the kickboxing pedigree probably higher than Michael Venom Page, what do you think that he did wrong that you could do better in terms of technical kickboxing when fighting Douglas Lima?
Oh, that's an amazing question. I was honestly looking forward to seeing that fight, and I think Mike made a mistake, and that's what got him caught. I think Mike and I have different styles, even though we look similar. People think that we look at, but the one of the key factors that we have is because we come from a similar background. If you had a superpower, our superpower would be to control time and space. So we can control time and space better than everybody. So that's why when people see us and when they fight, and they're like, "Oh, why does this guy look so bad?" It's because we can control time and space, and that other person doesn't understand that. I think where Mike, I think he had Lima hurt. And Mike's always been a bit of a prankster or jokester when he fights and when he competes and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of hurt him even in the past fighting, where he's playing around instead of just dominating somebody or finishing somebody off. I think he hurt Lima, and he went to kind of play and clown around, when you have to realize the caliber of opponent that you have across from you. At least this is me being the fly on the wall outside looking in, realizing the caliber of opponent that you have in front of you, when if he would have stuck to his basics, he would have almost, because he staggered Lima, I think he would have been able to finish him, but he kind of went to playing around a little bit, and that's what ended up getting him caught with the kick to the leg, and then he made the mistake of getting up, panicking, and getting up and got caught with a beautiful uppercut. I think that's where he really made the mistake. Mike and I are two completely different fighters. If you look at our offense, you look at our defense, you look at our skill set as far as what techniques we throw and the volume that we put out, I think it would be an entirely a different fight. And I think Ilima is probably one of the best stand-up fighters, all around welterweights in the world. Whether people want to give him the credit where it's due or not, he's an awesome, amazing stand-up fighter. And I think like I said, he's one of the best, and he's kind of ran through the entire division, but now I'm here in the division, and I'm a different animal when it comes to that. So I would love the opportunity to go out and test my skill set. And that's, like I said, no disrespect towards him or towards Mike. I think they're both amazing athletes. I would love to see that fight again, see Mike grow, because that's the first opportunity that someone's ever put him back where he's had to evolve and had to grow as a person, as a fighter. And I think Mike's an amazing athlete. I think Lima's an amazing champion. Like I said, he was considered the best stand-up artist in MMA, but now you have to realize that I am here in MMA, not just in the kickboxing world anymore.
All right, and thank you very much. With that, we will